Yeah, Tim, what was the moves or adjustments that you guys might have made in the second half to kind of get Washington under control?
Yeah, well, the first thing was just recognizing the style and type of offense that they were coming out to play. Obviously we had no tape on them from this year or from this coordinator, since several years ago. And so there was a lot of uncertainty on what personnel groups they were going to use, what formations we were going to see, and what types of plays we were going to see. And once we got a little bit under our belt, we were able to make some adjustments a little bit on the sideline, but mostly at halftime. And our guys settled in and were able to fit up the runs a lot better in the second half.
Bennett and Skelton played a lot more in this game. What improvements are you seeing from those two?
Yeah, obviously those guys getting their first chance to get going, and they've been working hard through camp, and we're optimistic about their future. And Alex got a little nicked up at that game, and he's questionable for this week. But both Evan and Skelton, they've been working hard, and looking for them to continue to progress.
The pass rush. Are you confident this team has a pass rush? I mean, we saw it last year, and I don't know if it's the teams you've been playing or something off with you guys. What are you seeing?
No, I don't think we're rushing as well as we did last year. And I am confident that we can generate a pass rush. We've just got to continue to work on our individual techniques at it, and being in the right places from a scheme standpoint when we do bring pressure, of making sure that we're not getting two guys overlapping in the same gap and that type of thing. And then we've got to get teams into longer yardage situations, which dictates you can be more aggressive in the pass rush. And those things play hand in hand. When you're not stopping the run like we didn't against Washington, especially early on, you're not getting that team into a lot of third and long situations. If you look at the game, a lot of their third downs were third and shorts and third and mediums, and it's a lot harder to just tee off on a team like that. We got to get them in those third and long situations where our rushers can have that edge of knowing that it's going to be a pass situation and get after the quarterback.
A year ago, against Cal, you guys had a really big game in their backfield. Like you had 14 tackles for loss or something around that neighborhood. How is Cal different this year?
Well, obviously they've got a new offensive coordinator, so they've got a new offensive system. We got one game to look at with the UCLA game, so they're definitely more of a pro style than they were in the past. They were heavy shotgun RPO offense last year, more spread sets, and they're doing a fair amount more pro style this year compared to what they've done in the past.
Coach, how nice is it to have updated film to scout and watch to prepare finally for a game?
It's a lot better than going in the dark, that's for sure. And so it was nobody was happier that they were able to reschedule a game with Cal and UCLA than us to get some film and to have at least a good glimpse at what they're doing, how they're using their personnel, the types of plays that they're running. And I think it just gives you a lot more clarity and I guess calm when you're putting together a game plan.
Tim, what have you seen teams doing this year to try to limit the damage that Ham can do compared to maybe how they were approaching him last year?
I can't say that notice on tape that they're doing anything special that they didn't do last year. That you might get a little bit more sliding the line his direction than maybe he got last year, especially early on in the year. But I can't say that, hey, they're doing this and this, that just to try to take him away.
Even without putting up kind of the big tackle for loss and sack numbers that he was putting up last year, how have you seen him affecting games so far and kind of impacting?
Yeah, he's had two, in my opinion, average games for what he's capable of. I think he would agree with that he can play better, that he can make a bigger impact on the game, and we got to get him playing at his highest level as fast as possible. And so, missing a chunk of training camp hurt him a little bit, and some nagging injuries with a, thumb and an ankle that slowed him down during camp. I think just now, even this week in practice, I thought so far in the past 2 days have been two of his best days of practice to get going.
Did you feel like Avery and Omar took a big step forward in this last game versus what you saw in the opener?
Well, they obviously made a lot of plays, and part of that, a lot of times what the offense does dictates who's going to end up making a lot of plays. And with the style and the two-back runs that Washington was using, you would expect your inside backers to lead your team in tackles. And I certainly feel like once they got settled in and to the run fits, and we made some sideline adjustments on their alignments, they were playing at a high level. And I think they can both play better. I think they're both really good players, and I don't think they've reached, their top level at all yet this season.
What about Simon Sandberg? It seems like he's gotten off to a really good start. What have you seen him doing kind of particularly well?
Well, Simon's been really consistent. I think that's one of the things that he brings to the table for us on the defensive line. He's very sharp. He knows his assignments. He's in the right place. And always there where he's supposed to be. And then when the play comes his way, he makes the play. And that you love that kind of consistency out of guys.
The outside linebacker room, it was a lot of talk about they were one of the deepest positions on the team going into the season. How have you felt like they've played as a group overall?
I've told this on Sunday that we have not made the kind of impact in the first two games that we need to make. That we expect those guys to be dynamic playmakers in this defense. They should have the opportunity to make tackles for losses, sacks, hits on the quarterback, disrupting plays at the line of scrimmage. And even when they're not making tackles, they got to be disruptive. And I don't feel like we've done that yet in the first two games.
Can you kind of put your finger on why that is? Is there anything specifically that group is just not doing efficiently or well?
Well, we're not. We've missed more tackles than any other position in, and that's the biggest one that jumps out at you when you miss opportunities for tackles. You know what I mean? At the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, those become go from being big and positive plays for the defense to big and positive plays for the offense. That would be the first thing I would, that jumps to mind is the number of missed tackles that we've had at that position.
Evan, you got in the game quite a bit on Saturday. How did you feel like you impacted the game?
I feel like I did good. I definitely feel like I did good for how many snaps I did. Alex was starting. Like Coach Tibbs said earlier, he got banged up, so I had to replace.
You're obviously not the size of Aiden or Whitley or those guys. What's your strength out there in the middle of the line?
Yeah, I'm not as big right now. I'm still trying to get my weight up. I'm at 290, but I definitely feel like I'm a versatile player, so that's what kind of separates me.
What did you feel like changed in the second half against Washington versus what you guys were not able to do in the first half?
Yeah, I just think that we weren't capitalizing enough, and that's what changed the momentum of the game. But not too much. Just going off of what Coach Tibbs says, like missing tackles, missing assignments. That's what really affected us.
And because you guys finally have updated game footage on your opponent this week of Cal, do you feel like you will be more prepared maybe than your previous two games or have a better idea of what to expect?
Yeah, having film definitely helps. It was kind of hard going in those games without film. We kind of knew what they ran last year, but things changed. But Cal having film right now is definitely going to help us have an advantage.
Hey, James, how would you, grade your guys' performance against Washington compared to where you guys were at against Washington State in week one? Do you feel like you took a step forward?
Yeah, I definitely think we have progressed. so forth as the D line and as the defense as a whole and as a team as a whole, we definitely took an extra step and had a big improvement from game 1 to game 2, as we expect to do from game 2 to game 3.
How difficult was it to approach those first 2 games, not having a whole lot of tape to look at? I mean, Tibesar said you guys were looking at high school tape of Delora just to get some sort of idea against Washington State. Is it nice just to have something to look at from Cal this week?
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice to have something to look at from Cal. We're thankful they had the opportunity to play UCLA this past Sunday, and to definitely critique their offense and look at their film and their O-line and go with the game plan and so forth as that.
Yeah, I'll go with one, Hank. Alex, just talk a little bit about Cal this weekend and just the preparation for it, and how nice it is for you guys to have a film and then now just have a couple games to work with.
It's nice that we got to see them play this past weekend on Sunday, so we have some film to be able to prep with to get ready for the week. We just coming into this week ready to work. Our minds is off of last week. Moving on to the next week, just trying to become a better team every week and progress as much as we can.
From film study, were you guys able to see the improvement from week 1 to week 2? And then what leads you to believe there'll be another improvement heading into week 3?
Most definitely every week there's improvement all across the board, from offense, special teams to defense. There's improvement every week. So we just watching the film every week, come back, take the coaching points, and get back on the grass ready to work.